All right, and now we got another segment involving a friend of the channel, D1. D1 is receiving backlash from his hometown of New Orleans because he showed support to Kendrick Lamar. New Orleans is upset because Lil Wayne was not chosen to perform at the Super Bowl this year, which takes place in New Orleans. You have a lot of people who are angry and upset because they felt like Lil Wayne was shortchanged. Kendrick was chosen instead. And there's all of this other ancillary stuff about, whether Drake's connection with Lil Wayne had anything to do with it. And Kendrick got chosen because of the beef, and Lil Wayne wasn't chosen because of his connection with Drake in relation to Kendrick, and so on and so forth. You got everybody from Cameron and Nicki Minaj coming out saying that Lil Wayne was done dirty by whomever was responsible for choosing Kendrick to be the performer at the Super Bowl. Kendrick recently showed some love to D1 on a song that he put out. And D1 kind of showed the love back, not in music form, but just kind of speaking on it. And now New Orleans is kind of mad at him, upset because he dared to show Kendrick some love and respect because of basically reciprocation, is essentially where it came from. So this says D1 support of Kendrick Lamar leads to barrage of backlash from New Orleans community. This debate between Kendrick Lamar and Lil Wayne for who deserves Super Bowl honors is starting to get a little too serious. We say that because New Orleans, Louisiana native D1 is getting a lot of hate for his support of the former. As you are all aware by now, the city has been extremely upset with their hometown hero not receiving the honors. Obviously, no one likes seeing Wheezy upset as he was in his first public address since the announcement. But some people are taking their anger too far to where they want to ban and warn residents of NOLA like D1 to never come back home. That's just some of the backlash the Christian rapper has been receiving, according to Hip Hop DX. D1 shared a compilation accompanied by a voiceover detailing what he's been dealing with since showing K. Love. So here is him talking about this situation briefly.
This is why you should never love your city more than you love God. So Kendrick Lamar shouted me out in his new song, and honestly, it's been life-changing already in the past 24 hours. That's the elevation. At the same time comes the condemnation. So now they got people, because they mad about my opinion on who should perform at the Super Bowl, so now they making diss tracks about me. They got people saying I'm canceled from the city. They got people saying I better not come back to the city. People I'm cool with making videos mad at what I'm standing on when it's the same thing I've been standing on since y'all met me. People who I just went on their podcast and it was all friendship and love now calling me a clout chaser and mad because we got a difference of opinion about who should perform at the Super Bowl. So the biggest rapper in the world is saluting me for my character. And at the same time, there's people in my city trying to cancel me for my character. The same character that's leading to my elevation is leading to my condemnation. Thankfully, I'm just gonna keep being me, keep serving God. That's what got me here. And I'm gonna just be thankful for every part that come along with this journey, no matter what it entails.
All right, so no need to read the rest of the article because it just paraphrases what he was saying there. You can obviously find other pieces of media on the internet of some of those people that he was talking about, or some of those other platforms, various other people who were, for lack of a better word, condemning him for showing Kendrick some respect or love for the fact that Kendrick initiated this in his own song. And they're just not happy about it. I guess he's supposed to denounce it, or he's got to say something about Lil Wayne as well. I'm not exactly sure where the animus comes from. But what do you think about the reaction towards D1 in light of him giving his opinion that there's nothing wrong with Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl?
Uh, uh, for somebody that's a Christian rapper and somebody that follows, God and Christ as much as he professes, you know, I don't know who said this. I don't know if Jesus or God said it, but you got to let the dead bury the dead, man. And if dead people are coming after you, because something that you said had life in it, then they can, they can kick rocks. So as he mentioned that he's just going to keep doing his thing and keep praising God and keep following God and because that's what got him in the position that he's in. And yeah, man, that's the only thing he should be worried about. But for honestly, man, for anybody that is really taking this to the point where you want to come out with diss tracks, you talk about clout chasing. I mean, that's clout chasing to me. It's just irony. So you know what this guy stands on. You know what he stands for. You know what he's about. So why wouldn't he support Kendrick in this context? So to me, it makes perfect sense for his brand, for him to say these type of things. But I'm a Miami person through and through, man. I love my city, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't own it. So if there's something that goes on there and there's people that don't represent it well, I'm gonna call them out or whatever. Like, I don't care. So if there was a situation, man, because Rick Ross is a clown. And he's from where I'm literally like Carroll City, like where I'm from. He's a clown. I get a good laugh with the guy or whatever, but for the most part, he's embarrassing. And so if there was something out there and somebody picked somebody else over Rick Ross, I'm not gonna be like, hey man, Rick Ross is the representative of. Nah, man, we got Rick Ross and gunplay. That's what Carroll City's known for, And so I'm not gonna sit here and go, oh yeah, man, what about Rick Ross? Nah, man, Rick Ross has done enough to embarrass our community, especially if I'm running around here saying that I'm standing on principles and stuff. So the same thing goes for Dee-1 and, being from New Orleans or whatever. And yeah, man, of course, Lil Wayne is New Orleans ambassador, I guess. But at the same time, man, he comes out with all this music that goes against what Dee-1 stands for. Well, if Dee-1 doesn't agree with that and feel like somebody that more represents the culture, more represents, the type of messages that Dee-1 himself puts out, then he's allowed to support that. But if anybody wants to just blindly go about these things and just say that, oh, we need to support this person because they're from this city or whatever, again, man, that's just the dead, man. And you shouldn't be concerned about what the dead are talking about. Let them bury themselves. So I don't really see anything wrong with what Dee-1 says. And even in his retort to these people, I feel like that was a classy way of handling this. And I don't think it's that many people. I think it's just a select crowd, because and no shade to Dee-1, man, if you're watching, bro. But not too many people really know who you are anyway, outside of the city. So, maybe even inside the city. So, I'm pretty sure it's not that many people that's really coming after, bro. So, man, just keep doing your thing, man, and keep standing on your message, bro, and don't let them try to peer pressure you, which I don't think they are. But what are your thoughts, sir, on Dee-1 standing up for his stance on agreeing with Kendrick doing the Super Bowl? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say that it was a good thing that Kendrick was chosen to perform over Wayne. He just said, cool, that Kendrick got it. Like, I don't really understand what's so controversial about that. But that's the propensity for hive-like mentality that we kind of see, where if you're not all the way in, then you must be all the way out. Because it's not like he said, hey man, I'm glad they picked Kendrick over Wayne. I don't think Wayne should have gotten it. He just said, cool. He just said, thanks, Kendrick, for shouting me out. Glad you got the opportunity. Appreciate it. And that was turned into whatever it became, with certain elements of, social media, internet troll world, largely based in New Orleans, talking about how he's going to get banned and all of this other kind of stuff, which people just got too much time on their hands. Like, you're just taking stuff way too far. But I hear you on one thing, though. Like, you accuse somebody of being a clout chaser for not being 100% in favor of your guy, then by default, that also makes you a clout chaser for your guy.
Right.
So at that point, you guys are canceling each other out. Both of y'all are clout chasing. You're just clout chasing on opposite ends of the spectrum. Why is your clout chasing better than his? Because he's not on your side? I don't get it. And again, he's not even against whatever side you're imagining for yourself. He's just saying, cool, glad he got the opportunity. I don't understand this, but groupthink mentality is a disease. I firmly believe that. And we have a serious problem in our community in certain aspects, especially when it comes to this music of groupthink mentality and people just not even understanding the value of free thought. And this kind of thing exemplifies that to me. If you don't think that Lil Wayne 100% should have been chosen as the performer and you're from the city, then you're a traitor, as opposed to just being somebody who has a different opinion. These are just weird dynamics to me. I'll never understand it. The older I get, the less I understand stuff like this personally. And once again, to anyone out there who is hollering this nonsense, there is no precedent whatsoever for the performer of the Super Bowl to be from the host city. There's no precedent for that. So all of this outrage over people who feel like Wayne should have been chosen based upon the idea that he's from the city, you really don't have a leg to stand on because there's no precedent for this. Not even when you talk about New Orleans. There's no precedent for that. So I'm not exactly sure where the frustration comes from. But, to Dee-1, man, I think that he should consider a career pivot. I don't know whether it's worth anyone's time or dedication to try and be an outlier voice within rap. I just don't know how worth it is to do that. You're so ostracized and viewed as an other by people who look just like you that it may behoove him to consider a career flip, become an author. I'm serious. Like, you need to become an author or a motivational speaker, I don't know, do stuff like that. Maybe be an educator, go teach at a college somewhere. But I just don't know if it's worth it for him to continue down this path because the sheer lack of support that he receives, even when he expresses a different point of view, to me is striking. It's unfortunate. Dee-1, despite being a rapper, Christian notwithstanding, as far as I can tell, is viewed as just as much of an other as Black people who perform country music, which we talk about often on this channel. They shouldn't be perceived as others, but they are because Black culture and rap / hip hop are synonymous with one another. I feel like Dee-1 is viewed as just as much of an other. So I think for his sake, it might be smart of him to consider a career pivot, leave rap behind, and just do exactly what he's doing, but in a different capacity. Maybe he can write books, do speaking tours, be a public speaker, motivational speaking. I don't know. He can probably inspire a lot of people if he went a different route, become an educator, high school, college educator, something of that nature. Maybe you need to go into the church, bro, become an actual pastor. But like this, to me, it's proving, as far as I can tell, to be more trouble than it's worth for him. And it's unfortunate that I can say that with such conviction, but I can, because when it comes to this rap and hip hop mumbo jumbo, if you're not lockstep with the consistent rhetoric, you're going to be ostracized. And when you are in that boat, you can't even say benign things like good job to this person for getting this opportunity, because if that's viewed as an outlying opinion, you're going to get raked through the coals for it. So I don't like the treatment that he's gotten by all appearances, but I also kind of feel like it might be high time for him to consider going a different route, because, bro, how much more of this can you take? Like, I get that you're going to be courageous and, stand the test of time and all of that good stuff, but at the end of the day, where can you apply your skills and your wisdom and your words and your passions in ways that can reach the most people and can impact the most lives? I'm not exactly sure that rap is that route, if it ever was. That is it's such an industry cesspool. You don't belong there, bro. I think that he should get out of it and consider a different path for himself.
Yeah, I think I can hear that. But when you're on the path of God, it's a lonely road, man. So he's welcoming this with open arms. He's welcoming the scrutiny with open arms because
Well,
he,
don't I know it?
yeah, these worldly people will never understand. And so he finds solace in the scrutiny. It's the way of the path for this man. So he's gonna keep going with this, and I dig it. I think he's needed. Uh, I don't personally listen to it, but there's people out there that do. But his voice is needed at times for the conversation, and whether people think he's a valid voice or not, I'm not too sure, but I still think that him throwing stuff out there is helpful. I do think he needs to get into being a preacher or something. I think it's more money in that than being a rapper. If you go to your local church, I think the pastor's driving cleaner than Dee-1 is right now. So I think he needs to probably do that. But also rap, man. I think he is changing lives, and he has changed lives. So I say he needs to keep doing that. And the scrutiny again, when you're dealing with the dead, which is more dead people in this world than alive, if you ask me, you're going to definitely get scrutiny, and you're definitely not going to be agreed with. So, so yeah, I think he needs to walk his path still do your thing, man. But also, you know, I do think he could have a greater impact doing other things, but I think he still should make music. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say my thoughts are, where can his impact be most felt? Where
Yeah,
does In what capacities does he make the greatest impact?
I think it's here,
Um,
man.
yeah,
I think it's
I
where
don't
he's
know.
doing.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know because I know one thing. If he was if he was a college professor, for an example, and
Mhm.
not a rapper, and he said the exact same thing about Kendrick, nobody would be talking about him being banned from the city.
Facts.
So my thing is, I'm not saying he should get out of it because of the detractors.
Mhm.
I'm saying he should get out of it because it's a win-win. You free yourself from the detractors. Not that he was afraid of them or shied away from the conflict. I'm not suggesting that,
Mhm.
but it's a win-win because you free yourself from the detractors and you potentially put yourself in a position to be more impactful with what it is that you've been called upon to do. If one were to ascribe to that notion that he
I
has
feel
been
that.
called upon to do something, but this rap stuff to me, I don't know, man. I've become more and more indifferent towards the prospect of the impact of this music on the community as the years go along. And I think that even if you're an outlying voice trying to do something positive within that context, it just gets drowned out by the dead, as you like to say. And at that point, would the value that you contribute to the world be best felt elsewhere? That's my only question.
Yeah, and honestly, like with this stuff, like I don't know if people I don't know if because we talk about it so much or whatever, but aren't people tired of this now? Aren't people tired of rap music now? And so after Not Like Us, what's been out? What happened? There's nothing going on. And to me, honestly, it's as dead as it's ever been. The genre is. There's nothing going on. Everything right now, in my opinion, is like really bad. And yeah, man, Kendrick is the hottest thing going. And so it doesn't make sense to have anybody else. So the Super Bowl thing to me, again, man, you know, I guess it's just New Orleans people wanting to have a moment. You know what I'm saying? Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, Lil Wayne is looking not good. So I think they want him to do it before, you know, things get crazier. And but it's like, look, man, we're not here for that. You know, this is about money right now, and Kendrick makes good money sense. So sorry for everybody out there that's, you know, got it in a bunch. And you know, I love New Orleans people, like I mentioned before in the last segment, man. Very cool people. And honestly, I would like to get a poll on this, because of course there's always the loud people
Right.
saying
Right.
stuff, but
Right. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's people in New Orleans that appreciate Lil Wayne, but also know what damage he's done as well for our community. So yeah, man, I would like to see a poll on this to see how people really feel, because these people that got these ignorant platforms, they gonna say some ignorant stuff. So yeah, man. So D1, man, keep doing your thing, boss. Keep standing on business. Keep standing with the Lord. You know, hey man, keep doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, shouts out to D1, man. I think his talents are I think his talents are better served elsewhere personally.
Hey man, I think it's
But
more
you know,
passion.
he's impassioned to do this, then you know, God be with him, no pun intended.
He'll tell you he's
Yeah.
got him with him. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel you on this music stuff. I don't know who likes any of this. Like that would be interesting. Maybe we need to conduct a thought experiment on that and get some of the community involved. Are y'all listening to any of this stuff? Like, what are people listening to? What are some of y'all listening to? Let us know in the comments what y'all is listening to. Anybody out there who does rap and hip hop? And I'm not saying some of y'all who listen to old stuff, new current stuff. Like, what is this? Because I can't. This stuff to me is just it's all nondescript garbage.
I'm
Like
back.
I'm
I'm
just
back
wondering,
on Spanish music again. I'm back on Spanish music again.
like I'm just what are people listening to? Because this stuff is just it's dog shit put in a brown paper bag and lit on fire. That's how bad it smells. I don't know who's listening to this stuff. It's terrible.
Oh my goodness.
Shouts out to D1, man.
Screw.